when my CEO wife left me stranded at LAX, laughing with her executive team from her private jet. She expected me to call an Uber home like a good little husband. Instead, I booked a first-class ticket to Vienna and sent one email that turned her triumphant smile into pure panic. Her 133 desperate messages went unanswered as I reclaimed what she'd stolen from me: my music, my dignity, and my future. My name is Mason Turner. I'm 41 years old, and I'm standing alone at LAX Terminal 5 watching my wife's private jet taxi down a runway without me. "Sir, can I help you with anything?" A young attendant approached, eyeing my expensive luggage, packed for the Vienna trip Vanessa had promised me for months. Our 10th anniversary celebration at the Classical Music Festival. My chance to reconnect with the industry colleagues I'd abandoned to support her career. "No," I answered, my voice steady despite the rage building in my chest. "Just watching my marriage disappear into the clouds." I pulled out my phone and reread Vanessa's message, sent just 30 minutes ago, taking the girls instead. "You understand, right? Major deal closing. Need to celebrate with the team. Order yourself an Uber home." Attached was a photo. Vanessa in designer sunglasses, champagne flute in hand, surrounded by her adoring executive team of yes women, all laughing. At me, presumably. I zoomed in on her face, that smirk I'd grown to hate. The one that said, "I win again." Not this time. I straightened my back, adjusted my tie, and walked directly to the first-class counter. The woman behind the desk smiled professionally. "Vienna, please. Next available flight." She tapped her keyboard. "That would be in 40 minutes, sir. We just had a cancellation in first class." I nodded, sliding my platinum card across the counter. "Perfect." While waiting for boarding, I opened my phone and drafted an email to our shared attorney, the one who handled both Vanessa's company contracts and our personal affairs. The attachment contained documentation I'd been gathering for months, proof that her company's groundbreaking audio recognition algorithm was built on MY compositions, my sound theory, my work I'd never been credited for. Final boarding call for flight 1192 to Vienna. I stood, grabbed my carry-on, and hit send on the email with its simple subject line: intellectual property claim, Turner versus Turner AI Systems. As our plane lifted into the clouds, I imagined Vanessa's phone buzzing somewhere over the Pacific. I pictured her face, usually so controlled, draining of color as she realized what I'd done. By tomorrow, her investors would be calling, panicking. I turned off my phone, ordered a scotch, and finally felt something I hadn't in years: free. The Boeing 777 climbed through the clouds, carrying me away from Vanessa's world of tech conferences and investor meetings. My name is Mason Turner, and for the first time in years, I was flying somewhere for myself, not as the invisible plus one to my CEO wife. I settled into the plush, first-class seat, accepting a glass of Glenfiddich from the attendant. The amber liquid caught the sunlight streaming through the window, reminding me of the last time I'd visited Vienna, before Vanessa, before I put my music career on standby to become her personal sound engineer. My phone vibrated in my pocket. I pulled it out, wincing at the notification count. 35 messages already, all from Vanessa. I scrolled through without opening them. The first few were typical Vanessa: "Don't be dramatic," and "You're overreacting again." By message 15, the tone shifted. "Where are you?" Then by 30, "Mason, this isn't funny anymore." The final message made me smirk. What the hell did you just do? My attorney's automated message must have hit her inbox. The carefully documented evidence of how her company's signature audio technology, the one that helped her raise $200 million last quarter, was built entirely on my theoretical framework, the one I developed during those hobby composing sessions she'd mocked for years. I turned off my phone and pulled out a leather notebook she'd given me last Christmas. An expensive gift, like all of hers. Italian leather, gilt-edged pages, and completely empty. No personal message, no acknowledgement of my existence beyond being the recipient of her expensive taste. I opened to the first page and wrote, "Mason's Vienna." Not hers. The flight attendant approached. "Another Glenfiddich, sir?" "No, thank you." I pointed to the small screen embedded in the seat. "But could you tell me if this flight has internet access?" She nodded. "Of course, sir. Premium access is complimentary for first class. Perfect. I opened my laptop and navigated to my cloud drive, downloading files I kept hidden for years. Compositions, patents, dated and notarized evidence of my work before Vanessa had refined it for her company. My phone buzzed again, this time with an email notification. My attorney confirming receipt of my claim, and his intention to file first thing in the morning. The legal wheels were turning. By now, Vanessa would be 30,000 feet over the Pacific, surrounded by her entourage, but suddenly very alone. The messages kept coming. I counted 68 by now, but I didn't read them. Let her panic. Let her feel what I'd felt for years. Invisible and powerless. I leaned back, watching Europe appear on the flight tracker. In 12 hours, I'd be walking the streets of Vienna, breathing air untainted by Vanessa's ambition. I'd visit the Vienna State Opera, reconnect with old colleagues, remind myself who Mason Turner was before he became Vanessa's husband. And while I reacquainted myself with the composer I used to be, her empire would begin its slow, inevitable crumble. Vienna greeted me with a crisp morning breeze that carried hints of coffee and fresh pastries. My name is Mason Turner, and after landing at Vienna International, I checked in a hotel Sacker, not the luxury high-rise Vanessa would have booked with an entourage of assistants, but a historic hotel with character and soul. I dropped my bags in the suite and headed straight to the streets, breathing in a city built on musical heritage. No itinerary, no schedule, no PR team telling me where to stand. Just me and the cobblestone paths that Beethoven and Mozart had once walked. The message count on my silenced phone had reached 133. I didn't read them, just noted the number with a sense of grim satisfaction. Let her sweat. As I turned a corner near the State Opera House, a familiar voice called out, "Mason Turner? Is that really you?" Standing outside a cafe was Klaus Weber, the German conductor who'd premiered one of my symphonies 15 years ago, before I'd met Vanessa. "Klaus," I said, grasping his hand firmly. "It's been too long." His eyes crinkled with genuine warmth. "What brings the invisible man to Vienna? Last I heard, you were playing trophy husband to that tech mogul." The bluntness was refreshing after years of California fake smiles. "Not anymore," I replied, straightening my shoulders. "I'm reclaiming what's mine." Klaus studied my face, then nodded toward the cafe. "Come." Coffee and conversation. Like the old days. Inside, Klaus introduced me to his companion, Sophia Keller, artistic director for the Vienna Festival of Sound. "Mason Turner," she said, recognition flashing in her eyes. "Your work on sonic patterns was groundbreaking. Then you disappeared." "I was diverted," I said carefully. Klaus snorted. "He means his wife stole his research and built a tech empire on it." I shot him a look, but Sophia was already nodding. "Vanessa Turner's AI audio recognition software." "Of course." She leaned forward. There were rumors in the industry that the theoretical framework wasn't hers. My pulse quickened. Those rumors were correct. "And now?" Klaus asked. I sipped my coffee, the rich Viennese roast bitter and perfect. "Now I'm taking back my work. My attorney filed the intellectual property claim this morning." Sophia's eyes widened. "Bold move against Turner AI Systems." "It's not Turner's system," I said firmly. "It's mine, and I'm through letting her take credit." Klaus raised his cup. "Welcome back to the land of the living, Mason." My phone buzzed again, this time an email from my attorney. Vanessa's legal team was requesting an emergency meeting. Panic mode had officially begun. "Are you here to work, or just to blow up your marriage?" Sophia asked with surprising directness. "Both," I replied. "I've been developing something new. Something that goes beyond what Vanessa commercialized." Sophia and Klaus exchanged glances. "We have an opening in the festival," Sophia said slowly. "A composer dropped out last week. If you have something ready." For the first time in years, opportunity didn't come with Vanessa's name attached. This was mine, earned through talent, not marriage. "I have something," I said, feeling a spark I'd thought long extinguished. "And it's ready." The golden hall of the Musikverein glowed with warm light, the ornate ceiling and gilded carvings a testament to Vienna's reverence for musical tradition. My name is Mason Turner, and I stood backstage, score pages in hand, heart pounding as I hadn't allowed it to in years. 5 minutes, Maestro Turner, the stage manager said with a respectful nod. Maestro, not Mr. Turner or Vanessa's husband, just recognition of what I was born to be. 3 days had passed since my chance meeting with Klaus and Sophia. 3 days of feverish work, finalizing the composition I'd kept hidden from Vanessa, my sonic response to the algorithm she'd built from my theories, but taken to its artistic conclusion rather than its commercial one. My phone had finally stopped its constant buzzing. After 185 messages, Vanessa had gone silent when my attorney sent her team the complete evidence package. The last message I'd seen simply read, "We need to talk. Now." Too late. I peered through the curtain at the filled auditorium. Word had spread quickly. The prodigal composer returns with a new work. The controversy with Turner AI only added spice to the narrative. A hand clapped my shoulder. Klaus, resplendent in his conductor's tails. "Nervous?" he asked. "Terrified," I admitted. "It's been a decade since I premiered anything." "Good. Use it." His eyes met mine. "Your wife is here." My heart stuttered. "What?" Klaus nodded toward the audience. "Third row, center." Hard to miss that California power suit among the Viennese evening wear. I should have expected it. Vanessa never surrendered control easily. "Should I be concerned?" Klaus asked, his hand moving subtly toward his breast pocket where I knew he kept his phone. "No." I square my shoulders. "Let her listen. This is the language she never bothered to learn." Klaus studied me, then nodded. "I'll give her an education then." He gestured to the score in my hands. "This really is brilliant work, Mason. What you've done with binary patterns translated to harmonics. Just conduct it like we rehearsed," I said, handing him the score. "The music will speak for itself." As Klaus moved toward the podium, I took my place in the composer's box, visible to the audience but separate. I caught sight of Vanessa immediately, her face a mask of practiced composure. Beside her sat a man I recognized as her chief legal counsel. Our eyes met across the distance. For a brief moment, I saw something flicker across her face. Not the anger or calculation I expected, but something like regret. The lights dimmed. Klaus raised his baton. The audience hushed. And, for the next 23 minutes, I reclaimed my voice. The final note of my composition hung in the air of the Musikverein, suspended in that perfect moment between performance and response. My name is Mason Turner, and I held my breath as Vienna's most discerning audience absorbed what they'd just heard. Then it happened. First one person stood, then another, until the entire hall erupted in applause. A standing ovation. For my work. My name. Klaus turned from the podium, his face flushed with the exhilaration of the performance, and gestured for me to join him on stage. As I stepped into the spotlight, I caught Vanessa's eye in the third row. She remained seated, her expression unreadable. After 3 curtain calls, I finally made my way to the reception area, where champagne flowed freely. Sophia appeared at my side, eyes bright with excitement. "Mason, that was extraordinary," she said, handing me a glass. "The way you translated mathematical sequences into emotional journeys, it's revolutionary." I smiled, accepting the glass. "Thank you for taking the chance on me." "It wasn't charity," Klaus interjected, joining us. "It was self-interest. The festival needed something this compelling." A photographer approached, asking for a picture of the 3 of us. As flashbulbs popped, I felt a presence behind me, a familiar perfume that had cost more than most people's monthly rent. "Mason." I turned slowly. Vanessa stood there, immaculate in a tailored black suit, her face composed but eyes betraying her tension. "Vanessa," I said evenly. "Surprised to see you in Vienna." Klaus and Sophia exchanged glances. "We should give you 2 a moment," Sophia suggested tactfully. "No," I said firmly. "Anything Vanessa has to say can be said in front of my colleagues." Vanessa's mouth tightened at the word colleagues, people she'd always dismissed as my artsy friends. "Fine," she said, her voice controlled. "Your attorney isn't returning our calls. This situation is getting out of hand." I took a deliberate sip of champagne. "The situation was out of hand when you built your company on my research without credit." "That's absurd," she snapped. "We were married. We collaborated. Is that what you call it?" I asked, raising an eyebrow. "Because I remember you dismissing my work as a hobby while using my sonic pattern recognition theories to secure your patents." Vanessa lowered her voice. "Mason, be reasonable. Let's discuss this privately. Like you discussed leaving me at the airport." I kept my tone, even aware of others watching our exchange. Or how about when you discussed removing my name from the research papers? Her perfect composure slipped momentarily. You never cared about the credit before. I cared, I said, meeting her gaze directly. You just never bothered to ask. Klaus cleared his throat. The Vienna Symphony has expressed interest in commissioning a full series based on tonight's piece, he said pointedly. This could be quite significant, Mason. Vanessa's eyes widened slightly as the implication sank in. My work, separate from her, valued on its own merits. We have a contract, she said tightly. Your work belongs to Turner Systems. I smiled for the first time. Check the dates on my compositions, Vanessa. They predate our agreement. My attorney will be happy to clarify. She stepped closer, dropping her voice to a whisper. Don't do this, Mason. We can fix this. No, I replied calmly. We can't. But I can fix me. The morning after my triumph at the Musikverein dawned with a clarity I hadn't experienced in years. My name is Mason Turner, and I woke in my suite at Hotel Sacher feeling truly rested, despite the late night of celebrations. A knock at my door revealed a hotel staff member with a silver breakfast tray. I didn't order room service, I said, confused. Compliments of Frau Keller, sir, the young man explained, placing the tray on the small table by the window. She asked me to deliver this note as well. After tipping him, I unfolded Sophia's note. Join me at the cafe across the street at 10. News too good for a phone call. Intrigued, I showered and dressed quickly. The cafe was a charming Viennese institution with marble-top tables and dark wood paneling. Sophia waved from a corner table where Klaus was already seated beside her. There he is, Klaus announced as I approached. Vienna's newest musical sensation. I laughed, sliding into the chair opposite them. One performance hardly makes me a sensation. Tell that to the critics, Sophia said, pushing a newspaper toward me. The headline read, American Composer's Triumphant Return. Mathematics meets emotion in Turner's groundbreaking work. And that's not all, Klaus added, his expression serious despite the twinkle in his eyes. The Vienna Philharmonic's artistic director was there last night. He called me at 6 this morning. I set down my coffee cup. What did he want? Sophia leaned forward. They're offering you the position of composer in residence for the upcoming season. It would mean staying in Vienna, writing new works, collaborating with their principal conductor. My heart raced. It was the kind of opportunity I dreamed of before meeting Vanessa. I need to think about it. I began cautiously. There's more, Klaus interrupted. Der Musik Institute is prepared to fund a research division based on your sonic pattern theories, the authentic, original ones. Academic freedom, publication rights, everything. I stared at them, momentarily speechless. This is a chance to reclaim your legacy, Mason, Sophia said softly. On your terms. I was about to respond when a familiar figure appeared at our table. Discussing my husband's future without me? Vanessa asked, her smile brittle beneath her designer sunglasses. Klaus's expression hardened. Mrs. Turner, this is a private meeting. Involving my husband and his contractual obligations, she countered smoothly, turning to me. Mason, we need to talk. Alone. I looked at her, really looked at her, seeing beyond the perfect exterior to the calculating mind that had always put ambition first. Whatever you want to say, I said clearly. You can say in front of my colleagues. Vanessa's professionally whitened smile tightened. Fine. Our legal team has reviewed your claim. We're prepared to offer you a generous settlement and public acknowledgement of your contribution to the technology. In exchange for, I asked, already knowing the answer, dropping the claim and returning to California, of course. Her voice softened in that practiced way she used for negotiations. We can fix this, Mason. Together. I looked at Sophia and Klaus, then back to Vanessa. No, I said simply. Vanessa blinked, genuinely surprised. Excuse me. I said no. I'm staying in Vienna. The Kunstgallery in Vienna's first district hummed with conversation and the gentle clink of champagne glasses. My name is Mason Turner, and 1 week after my performance at the Musikverein, I stood in a space I'd never imagined for myself. A gallery displaying visual representations of my sound compositions. Remarkable translation of audio to visual medium, a critic remarked, studying the wave patterns rendered in vibrant colors. How did this collaboration begin? Mason's work naturally lends itself to visualization, Sophia explained beside me. The mathematical foundations create patterns beyond just sound. The show had been her idea, a way to expand the reach of my compositions while the legal battle with Vanessa continued in America. Each painting represented a different section of my Vienna performance, created by local artists inspired by the music. Klaus approached, guiding an elderly man toward us. Mason, meet Heinrich Bauer, director of the Vienna Conservatory. I extended my hand, but Heinrich pulled me into an unexpected embrace. Brilliant work, young man. We haven't heard such innovation since. His words were cut short as the gallery doors flew open and 3 men in expensive suits entered, scanning the room before spotting me. Mr. Turner, the tallest one approached. Thomas Wolfe, legal counsel for Turner Systems. I straightened my shoulders. My attorney handles all communications. Your wife sent us with a proposal, he continued, undeterred. She's prepared to settle. Full credit acknowledgement, substantial financial compensation. In exchange for, I asked, though I already knew, returning to California immediately and transferring rights to your new compositions. The room had quieted, attention shifting to our confrontation. This was Vanessa's style, public pressure, calculated timing. I met Wolfe's gaze directly. Tell my wife I'm not for sale. Mr. Turner, be reasonable, he pressed. These European offers are flattering, but temporary. Turner Systems is offering long-term security. Klaus stepped beside me. I believe Mr. Turner gave you his answer. And I believe this is a private business matter, Wolfe countered. Actually, I said, loud enough for the room to hear, there's nothing private about how Turner Systems was built on stolen intellectual property. My property. Heinrich Bauer moved forward surprisingly quickly for his age. Gentlemen, this is a cultural event. If you're not here to appreciate the art, perhaps you should leave. The 3 lawyers exchanged glances, clearly unprepared for resistance. We'll be in Vienna until tomorrow, Wolfe said, handing me a card. Your wife hopes you'll reconsider. As they departed, Sophia squeezed my arm. You stood your ground. I'm done running, I replied, watching the lawyers retreat through the gallery doors. Good, Klaus said firmly, because Vienna is starting to feel like it's yours. For the first time, I realized he was right. This city offered something I'd lost in California, recognition on my own terms. Not as Vanessa's husband, but as Mason Turner, composer. It does, I agreed, raising my glass. To new beginnings. The recording studio at the Vienna Music Academy was a temple of acoustics, designed for perfect sound capture. My name is Mason Turner, and today I was conducting the Vienna Chamber Orchestra through the recording of my new composition, the one that would establish my independent career. Again for Measure 78, I instructed through the microphone. The strings need to create tension before the digital elements enter. The orchestra repositioned their instruments, watching me attentively. Unlike in Los Angeles, where Vanessa's name had overshadowed my musical direction, here they saw me, really saw me, as the composer. Ready when you are, maestro, the concertmaster responded. The recording session had been underway for 6 hours, but nobody showed signs of fatigue. This piece was special, a fusion of classical orchestration and the mathematical sound patterns I'd developed years ago. During a short break, Sophia entered the control room, excitement visible on her face. You've gone viral, she announced, showing me her tablet. The screen displayed an industry news site with the headline, Turner vs. Turner. Battle for sonic innovation escalates as Mason Turner Records' groundbreaking new work in Vienna. Below was a photo of me from the gallery opening, looking directly at Vanessa's lawyers with clear defiance. That's not all, Sophia continued, scrolling to another article. 3 major tech companies have reached out about licensing your original sonic pattern technology, separate from what Vanessa commercialized. The control room engineers signaled that the orchestra was ready to resume. We'll discuss this later, I told Sophia, returning my attention to the musicians. As I raised my hands to cue the next section, the studio door opened. A studio assistant entered, looking apologetic. Mr. Turner, I'm sorry to interrupt, but your wife is outside. My hands remained raised, but I felt every musician's attention shift. Tell her I'm in the middle of a recording session, I replied evenly. The assistant hesitated. She's insisting, sir. Says it's urgent. I looked through the glass at the musicians, 30 professionals who had committed their day to my vision. People who respected my work. The session continues, I said firmly. If Mrs. Turner wishes to speak with me, she can wait until we're finished. The assistant nodded and left. I turned back to the orchestra. From the top of the movement, please. As the music began, I felt a strange sense of calm. 6 months ago, I would have immediately abandoned whatever I was doing to address Vanessa's urgent needs. Now, my priorities were clear. 2 hours later, as we completed the final take, I knew we'd captured something special. The musicians knew it too, their faces showing that unique satisfaction that comes from creating something original. Magnificent work, everyone, I said through the talkback microphone. That's a wrap. As the orchestra began packing up, Sophia appeared at my side. She waited, she said quietly. All 2 hours. I nodded, straightening my score sheets. Then I guess she finally learned what patience feels like. The law offices of Weber and Steinman occupied a historic building near Vienna's Opera House, its interior a blend of old-world charm and modern efficiency. My name is Mason Turner, and I sat at a polished conference table across from Vanessa and her legal team. Our future is being decided in precise legal language. These terms are non-negotiable, my attorney, Claudia Muller, stated firmly. Full acknowledgement of Mr. Turner's intellectual property rights, complete creative control over his past and future compositions, and a fair division of royalties from all technologies derived from his work. Vanessa's lead counsel leaned forward, and in exchange, Mr. Turner drops the patent infringement claim, Claudia replied, allowing Turner Systems to continue using the technology with proper attribution. I watched Vanessa's face, her carefully controlled expression revealing nothing, though the slight tightness around her eyes told me she was calculating losses and gains. May I speak with my husband alone? She finally asked. The lawyers exchanged glances, then nodded, filing out of the room. As the door closed, Vanessa's practiced smile faded. Was all this really necessary, Mason? She asked, gesturing to the legal documents. The media attention, the very public humiliation, was leaving me at the airport necessary. I countered, taking credit for my work for years. She sighed, brushing an invisible speck from her designer suit. We could have discussed this privately. I tried that approach for 10 years. I reminded her. You never listened. I listened, she insisted. I just had a company to run, and I had a life to reclaim. Vanessa studied me, seeming to truly see me for the first time in years. Vienna suits you, she admitted reluctantly. You seem different. I am different, I agreed. I'm myself again. A knock at the door signaled the lawyer's impatience. Vanessa straightened her shoulders, the business mask slipping back into place. I'll sign the settlement, she announced. But I want something in return, something not in the legal documents. I raised an eyebrow, wary. What? Honesty, she said. Tell me, was any of it real? Us, I mean. The question caught me off guard. After all the battles and betrayals, this moment of vulnerability seemed almost out of character. Parts of it were. I answered truthfully. In the beginning, before Turner Systems became your only priority. She nodded, absorbing this. And now? Now we both move forward, I said, separately. As the lawyers returned and documents exchanged hands, I felt a weight lifting, not just the legal burden, but the emotional one I'd carried for years. Congratulations, Mr. Turner, Claudia said as Vanessa and her team departed. You stood your ground. Through the window, I watched Vanessa climb into her waiting car, her phone already pressed to her ear, likely damage controlling the situation with her board. Some battles ended not with dramatic victories, but with quiet signatures that changed everything. The Vienna State Opera House glowed in the evening light, its historic facade illuminated against the darkening sky. My name is Mason Turner, and 6 months after my confrontation with Vanessa, I stood backstage preparing for the premiere of my symphony, a full-length work commissioned by the Vienna Philharmonic. 5 minutes to curtain, Maestro, the stage manager announced, using the title that still felt new but right. I adjusted my tuxedo cuffs, the program on the stand before me. Reclamation, Symphony No. 1 by Mason Turner. My name alone, no shadows, no qualifiers. Sophia appeared, elegant in a midnight blue gown. Full house, she reported. and the Deutsche Grammophon executives are here to discuss the recording contract. Any sign of her? I asked, though I didn't expect Vanessa to attend. Sophia shook her head. Just the music world's elite and about a dozen tech journalists covering this sonic innovator whose patterns change modern AI. I smiled at the irony. The settlement had transformed me from invisible husband to noteworthy composer almost overnight. Turner Systems still used my technology, now with my name properly credited, while I pursued the artistic applications that had always been my true passion. Klaus approached, already in his conductor's attire. Ready for your new life to begin officially. It began the moment I decided to board that plane to Vienna, I replied. A knock at the dressing room door revealed my attorney Claudia, holding an envelope. Final divorce papers, she said. Just delivered. Vanessa signed everything. I took the envelope, feeling its weight. The official end of one chapter, confirmation of another's beginning. Also, Claudia added with a small smile, Turner Systems announced their new sonic pattern protocol today. They're calling it the Mason method. Klaus laughed. Seems you've won on all fronts. I tucked the envelope away. Not about winning, just about living truthfully. The orchestra began tuning, that beautiful chaos of instruments finding harmony. Through the curtain, I glimpsed the filled seats, the expectant faces, the world I'd stepped away from and found again on my own terms. Places, please, the stage manager called. As I moved toward the stage, Sophia caught my arm. Mason, she said, her voice soft but clear, I'm proud of how you handled all of this. I covered her hand with mine briefly. Thank you for helping me find my voice again. The curtain rose, the lights dimmed, and I stepped into the spotlight. Not as someone's husband or shadow, but as Mason Turner, composer, creator, and finally, after all these years, the author of my own story. The audience applauded as I took my position. I raised my hands, and with the first downbeat, my new life began in earnest.